Maya Collins had never imagined her life would collapse in a single night, but 6 months ago, everything she owned turned into smoke. When the fire alarm shrieked at 3:17 a.m., she woke to a darkness so thick it felt alive, pressing against her lungs with a chemical bite that told her something was terribly wrong. She stumbled out of bed, coughing, barely able to see past the burning haze creeping across her small apartment. Her hand slammed against the nightstand, fumbling for her phone before instinct pushed her toward the door. Barefoot and half-dressed, she ran into the hallway, where black smoke rolled like a living creature, swallowing light and swallowing sound. She didn't think, she couldn't. She simply moved, each breath a knife in her throat as she barreled down the stairs, ignoring the screams around her. By the time she hit the street, the February cold slapped her skin hard enough to hurt. She turned, shivering violently as flames burst from her fourth-floor window. Unit 4B, her home for 7 quiet years. A firefighter approached her, helmeted face grim. "Ma'am, are you the resident?" She nodded, unable to speak. He hesitated only a moment before saying, "Everything inside that unit is gone." Maya stared at the burning building, feeling something in her chest crack open. Her life, photos, memories, her guitar from her late stepfather, her college work, everything she had been building, was dissolving in a storm of orange light. She sank to the curb, phone still in her trembling hand. It was 3:47 a.m. Neighbors whispered. Someone wrapped a blanket around her shoulders. And yet, all she could think was, who do I call now? Her parents. She pressed the button. The phone rang. And rang. And rang. When Janet Marston finally answered, her voice was thick with sleep and sharper than Maya expected. "Do you know what time it is?" Maya choked on her breath, tears already burning her swollen eyes. "Mom, there was a fire. My apartment's gone. Have nothing. I don't know where to go." The line went quiet except for the faint rustling of sheets. Then her mother said, "Oh." Just that. A flat, cold syllable that landed harder than the winter wind. Maya pressed the phone tighter. "Mom, please. I don't know what to do." There was more rustling. Then Bruce Marston's voice slid into the call. Calm, annoyed, dismissive. "Maya, whatever happened is not our problem. You should have been more careful." The line went dead. Maya froze. Phone pressed against her ear as if the silence itself had weight. She stared at the burning building, letting the words settle into the deepest part of her. Not our problem. As daylight approached, firefighters sprayed what little remained of her apartment. Neighbors went back inside. Maya sat alone on the curb, wrapped in the thin blanket she couldn't feel anymore. She replayed the call repeatedly, each replay pulling apart old wounds she had tried for years to ignore. Her mother hadn't asked if she was safe. Bruce hadn't offered help. Neither had asked if she was hurt. Instead, Maya was left with 2 things: the clothes on her back and the words that would anchor the next 6 months of her life. When Evan Pierce, her co-worker, found her on his doorstep later that morning, ash still tangled in her hair, he didn't ask for explanations. He simply opened the door and said, "Maya, stay as long as you need." And for the first time in hours, she cried like someone who had finally found a place to land. 3 days later, Maya finally felt stable enough to call her renter's insurance company. She expected red tape and hold music, but instead she got a man named Greg with a polite Midwestern voice that grew more uncomfortable with every sentence he spoke. "Ms. Collins," he said carefully, "can you confirm your relationship to Janet and Bruce Marston?" Maya blinked at the borrowed laptop screen. "They're my parents." "Why?" Silence stretched too long, too thick. "Ms. Collins, I think you need to come in. There's something you need to see. Can't you tell me now?" "No," he said. "It's better in person." Something inside Maya twisted. When she arrived the next morning, Greg guided her into a conference room with the expression of someone who didn't want to be the messenger. He handed her a folder. Inside was her insurance policy, routine details, signatures, coverage limits. But then she turned to the last page, beneficiary designation, and her breath caught. Listed at 100%. Janet Marston and Bruce Marston. This is a mistake, Maya whispered. I never signed this. Greg pointed to her signature. It looked identical. This form was submitted 6 months ago, he said. Your original policy listed you as your own beneficiary. Maya stared at the signature she knew wasn't hers. Her pulse hammered. Someone had forged her name. Someone had changed her beneficiaries. And 5 days before the fire, her mother had visited her apartment for the first time in 2 years. Coincidence? Maya no longer believed in coincidences. Detective Cole Calder didn't waste time with small talk when he met Maya at a cafe that afternoon. He placed a stack of photos on the table. Burnt fragments, chemical residue, scorch patterns she wasn't prepared to see. Your fire wasn't accidental, he said. The words hit like a physical impact. Cole showed her the point of origin, behind her bedroom dresser. No faulty wires. No electrical surges. Someone helped it burn. Maya wrapped her arms around herself. So what now? Now, Cole said, we ask the most important question. Who had access to your apartment in the week before the fire? Maya's throat tightened. She forced the words out. My mother. Cole didn't react with surprise. Only a slow, steady nod like a puzzle clicking into place. The building logs confirm it. She was the only visitor. Maya stared at the table. All the pieces were there. Her mother's sudden visit, the forged signature, the insurance beneficiary change. But saying it out loud felt like betraying something sacred, even if that sacred thing had betrayed her first. We're not accusing anyone yet, Cole said gently. But this investigation is active. If there's anything else you haven't told me, now is the time. Maya exhaled shakily. There might be something else. That night, Maya called her mother. She tried to keep her tone casual, but tension crept into every word. Mom, thanks again for visiting last week. It meant a lot. Janet hesitated. Of course, honey. I've missed you. Maya picked at a frayed thread on Evan's couch. Did you notice anything strange in my apartment? The fire investigator keeps asking questions. Janet's voice sharpened instantly. Why would they investigate? It was a fire. They think it might not have been an accident. Silence swallowed the line. 1 second, 2, 3, and 4. Then Janet said, cold and controlled, don't talk to investigators without a lawyer. They twist your words. Maya blinked. Why would I need a lawyer? I'm the victim. I'm trying to protect you, Janet snapped. From what? Bruce's muffled voice echoed in the background. Janet suddenly said, I have to go. The line went dead. Maya stared at her phone. She didn't shake. She didn't cry. Something inside her had shifted in the last few days. Something harder, clearer. Her mother wasn't trying to protect her. She was trying to protect herself. Maya texted Detective Cole. We need to talk. Have more information. He replied immediately, tomorrow 9 a.m. same place. Maya didn't sleep. But this time it wasn't fear keeping her awake. It was the beginning of a plan. Early the next morning, Maya met Detective Cole again. This time she came prepared. Not only with questions but with a sharp clarity she hadn't felt since the fire. Cole listened as she explained the forged beneficiary form, the signature that wasn't hers, and the insurance company's quiet request for an in-person meeting. When she recounted Janet's reaction on the phone, how her mother had gone from syrupy concern to cold warnings within seconds, Cole leaned back, pen clicking slowly in his hand. People don't panic about investigations unless they have something to hide, he said. Maya stared at her hands, fingers intertwined so tightly her knuckles paled. I don't want to believe she did this, she whispered. But everything points to her. Cole nodded. We don't deal in belief. We deal in evidence. And right now, evidence is forming a line that leads back to your mother. He opened a folder, revealing preliminary lab notes. The fire accelerated unusually fast. Chemical traces were found near the outlet. Maya's heart dropped. What kind of chemicals? We're still running full analysis, Cole said. But it's not household material. Maya exhaled, shaky and disbelieving. Her mother had always been strict, distant, sometimes cruel, but arson? Insurance fraud. Could a mother really look at her child's home, her child's life, and see only dollar signs? Cole watched her closely. I need you to tell me something difficult. When your mother visited 5 days before the fire, did she bring anything unusual? Maya thought back. The black gym-style bag. The one she never saw her mother carry before. She had a big bag, Maya said slowly. She left without it. Cole's eyes sharpened. That bag matters. He closed the folder. We're getting closer, Maya. But this next part may get ugly. Maya swallowed hard. I'm ready. 2 hours later, Cole escorted Maya to her apartment building to speak with the manager, Mr. Henderson. His office was cramped and smelled faintly of old coffee, but he was cooperative, especially when he saw the investigator's badge. We installed new hallway cameras 2 months ago, Henderson said, clicking through footage on a small monitor. If someone entered the unit, we'll see it. Maya folded her arms tightly, bracing herself. Then there she was. Janet Marston appeared on the screen at 2:07 p.m., walking down the 4th-floor hall with a large black bag slung over her shoulder. Maya inhaled sharply. Cole leaned forward. Play it. They watched Janet glance around, then unlock Maya's door and step inside. The timestamp recorded every moment. Henderson fast-forwarded. At 5:12 p.m., Janet exited the apartment. Her hair slightly frazzled. Her expression tense. But the bag. Cole tapped the screen. 3 hours, he murmured. Not a 30-minute visit like she told you. Henderson clicked again, switching to the camera near the service exit. They watched Janet walk toward her car, still no bag. She didn't leave with it, Cole said, voice low. She left it inside. Maya stared at the monitor as her pulse hammered in her ears. The truth wasn't hiding anymore. It was sitting right there, recorded on an unblinking lens. Henderson added quietly. Fire crews found melted plastic and metal behind the dresser. They said it didn't look like something that belonged in the apartment. Cole made a note. This is strong evidence. Maya pressed a hand to her chest. Felt too tight, too full. Seeing her mother on the screen, calm, purposeful, entering her home with a mysterious bag, felt like betrayal layered on betrayal. What happens now? She whispered. Cole looked at her steadily. Now we build the case. Cole arranged a meeting with an attorney he trusted, Aaron Benton, a lawyer known for dismantling insurance fraud cases with surgical precision. Maya met Aaron in her downtown office, walls lined with neatly organized case files and framed trial victories. Aaron didn't waste time. She held the forged beneficiary form under a magnifying lamp, tilting it slightly. Your signature is practiced, she said. The slant is natural. The loops are fluid. Then she pointed to tiny marks under the magnifier. This one isn't. See these hesitation points. Forgeries almost always have them. Maya leaned in. The marks were small, barely visible, but unmistakable once pointed out. So you can prove it's fake. Aaron nodded. I'll hire a certified forensic document examiner. They'll testify. But here's something even more interesting. This form wasn't mailed in. It was hand-delivered. Maya's breath caught. By who? Aaron lifted another sheet. According to visitor logs, a middle-aged woman dropped it off, claiming she was submitting paperwork for her daughter who was too busy to come in. She raised an eyebrow. Does that sound familiar? Maya felt her stomach twist. Janet, she whispered. Aaron slid the log across the table. The clerk remembers her. He mentioned her perfume, Chanel No. 5. Said his mother used to wear it. Maya blinked. Her mother had worn that perfume her entire life. Aaron leaned back. Between the video footage, the forged form, and the eyewitness, your mother has walked herself into a corner. Maya looked down at her hands. They weren't shaking anymore. What do we do next? She asked. Erin's expression sharpened. We wait. People like your mother never stop at one move. She'll try something else. And when she does, we'll be ready. Maya nodded slowly. She was ready too. The something else arrived sooner than anyone expected. 3 days later, Maya's phone rang. Janet's voice floated through, sweet as honey and twice as fake. Maya, sweetheart, the family is very worried about you, she said. We're having a small gathering at the house on Sunday. Everyone wants to see you, support you. Make sure you're okay. Maya nearly laughed. Instead, she said, I'll be there. Janet paused, just long enough to reveal surprise. Oh, that's wonderful, darling. When the call ended, Maya immediately phoned Cole. She's planning something. Cole sighed. Of course she is. Do not confront her. The warrant is processing, but these things take time. I won't confront her, Maya said. But I need to be there when everything comes out. Cole hesitated. Fine. But be careful. I'll be nearby. Next, Maya called Erin. How's the identification? Erin sounded triumphant. The clerk picked Janet out of a photo lineup. No hesitation. Finally, Maya texted Evan. Remember the favor about cloud backups? His reply came instantly. Call me. Found something. Maya didn't know what scared her more. How quickly everything was coming together, or how calm she felt moving through it. The family gathering wasn't a reunion. It was an ambush. One Janet clearly thought she controlled. But she didn't know about the footage. She didn't know about the eyewitness. She didn't know about Cole's warrant. And she didn't know Maya wasn't the same frightened daughter she once manipulated. As Maya prepared for Sunday, she felt something strange. Power. For the first time in her life, she wasn't reacting to her mother. She was preparing. Sunday arrived cold and gray. Maya parked across the street from her parents' house. A polished suburban home with white siding and a perfect lawn. 15 cars lined the driveway. 15 witnesses. Maya stepped out, inhaling deeply. She wasn't walking into a family gathering. She was walking into a stage her mother built, one she planned to burn down herself. Janet opened the door before Maya even knocked. She wore pearls and a soft cream blouse, expression arranged into perfect maternal concern. Maya, she whispered, pulling her into a hug that lasted too long. My poor girl. We've all been so worried. Maya let her hold her, but didn't hug back. Inside, faces turned toward her. Aunt Nora, Uncle Grant, cousins Trevor and Chloe, all wearing the same rehearsed pity. Your mom told us everything, Nora murmured, squeezing Maya's hands. You've been under so much stress. Bruce stood by the fireplace, checking his phone like he wanted to be anywhere else. Maybe talking to someone would help, Chloe suggested gently. A therapist. Maya realized then. Janet had told them she was unstable, unwell, making up stories. The old script. Discredit the truth before the truth can speak. Janet gathered everyone in the living room, dabbing her eyes with a tissue. Thank you all for coming, she began, voice trembling beautifully. Maya has been saying troubling things about the fire about us. And I just want us to support her through this difficult time. A soft wave of sympathy rippled through the room. Bruce added quietly, she's not well. All eyes shifted to Maya, waiting for her breakdown, her denial, her shame. Instead, Maya stayed silent. Watching. Listening. Letting Janet perform her final act, before the truth walked through the door behind her. As Janet continued her flawless performance, Maya felt her phone buzz in her pocket. A single message lit the screen. Cole. Got full footage. You need to see this now. Maya slipped the phone away before anyone noticed. Janet dabbed theatrically at her cheek. I love my daughter, she murmured, sniffing delicately. But these accusations, they're signs of stress, trauma. She's confused. Murmurs of agreement floated around the room. Maya felt their eyes pressing on her, waiting for her to break. Instead, she stood up slowly. Excuse me, she said in a level voice. I need some air. Janet froze. Just for a heartbeat. Then she forced a soft smile. Of course, sweetheart. Take all the time you need. Maya walked toward the front door with steady steps. Not rushed, not ashamed, just calm. That alone unsettled the room. When she stepped outside, the cold air slapped her cheeks awake. She closed the door behind her and exhaled, feeling the shift. This was the moment everything turned. She walked down the driveway, ignoring the eyes she felt watching through the blinds, and approached the unmarked sedan parked 2 houses away. Detective Cole sat inside, window cracked open. "Get in," he said quietly. Maya slipped into the passenger seat. Her pulse quickened as she saw the laptop open between them. Cole tapped the trackpad. "Watch this." The footage played from 3 camera angles. Her mother entering the apartment with a large black bag. 3-hour stay. The exit with no bag in sight. And then the service door angle, confirming she never carried anything out. Next, Cole showed her a still image. A store security frame. A woman buying a digital plug-in timer with cash. Brown hair. Familiar posture. Familiar purse. Maya's stomach dropped. "We traced the serial number," Cole said. "It matches the device found melted behind your dresser." There was no room for doubt now. The truth wasn't approaching, it had arrived. As Maya stared at the grainy footage, Cole spoke quietly, like someone walking her through a controlled burn. Fire investigators found fragments from a plug-in timer device, same batch as the one she bought. He scrolled to another image. Melted plastic, twisted wires, identifiable parts despite the damage. Maya felt cold spread through her chest. "She planned it," she whispered. Cole nodded. "The evidence is overwhelming. Her visit, the forged signature, the chemical traces, timer. And now..." He held up his phone, another message coming in. "The clerk who processed the forged form just identified your mother without hesitation." Maya leaned back, hands trembling in her lap. Seeing her mother caught on camera was one thing. Hearing her name identified by a stranger was another. The circle was closing. "How long?" Maya asked, voice barely above a whisper. "Until arrest." Cole checked his watch. "Judge Morrison signed the warrant an hour ago. 2 officers are en route. They'll be here in 25 minutes. Maya closed her eyes. For a moment she imagined time pausing, imagined warning her younger self that one day she would watch the truth unfold like this. Cole studied her face. "You okay?" She nodded slowly. "I don't know if that's the right word. But I'm ready." Cole hesitated before asking, "What are you planning in there?" Maya opened her eyes. They were steady. "I'm not confronting her. But I want my family to see everything at once. No lies. No confusion. No performance." Cole nodded with respect. "Then go back in. Keep the peace. I'll come in when it's time." Maya placed her hand on the door handle. "Detective, why did you take my case so seriously?" Cole breathed in, eyes distant. "Someone tried to do to you what they once did to my sister." Maya didn't ask anything else. She didn't have to. She stepped out of the car, feeling the shift inside her, fear melting into strength like metal being reforged. When Maya re-entered the house, the room fell silent again, but this time for a different reason. The family had expected tears, hysteria, maybe even a loud confrontation. Instead, she walked in with her shoulders squared, her chin lifted, and an unreadable calm in her eyes. Janet paused mid-sentence, tissue still pinched between her fingers. "Feeling better, sweetheart?" she asked lightly. Maya smiled, small, controlled. "Actually, Mom, I have a question." The room tightened. All eyes turned to her. Bruce looked up from his phone, frowning. Aunt Nora tensed. Trevor and Chloe exchanged uneasy glances. Maya stepped forward. "When you visited my apartment last month," she said clearly, "why did you stay for 3 hours? You told me it was a 30-minute visit." Janet blinked, smile tightening. 3 hours. "Honey, I don't remember the exact time. The building has cameras," Maya continued. "I've seen the footage." Janet's jaw twitched. Bruce shifted uncomfortably. Maya's voice remained steady. You walked in with a large black bag that I never saw again. You walked out without it. I don't know what bag you're talking about, Janet said sharply, dropping the sweet tone entirely. You're confused. The fire investigators aren't confused, Maya said. They know the fire started behind my dresser. They know it wasn't electrical. A ripple of shock moved through the room. Maya, Bruce snapped, enough. You're embarrassing yourself. Maya's eyes locked on him. No, Bruce. I'm telling the truth. Janet's voice dropped to a hiss. I don't know what lies these investigators have told you, but... Then both Janet's and Bruce's phones rang at the same time. They looked down. Froze. The color drained from Janet's face. Bruce whispered, "They're calling." The doorbell rang. Aunt Nora stepped back. Uncle Grant's breath hitched. Maya didn't move. She already knew who it was. Uncle Grant opened the door reflexively, still processing the tension rippling through the room. Detective Cole stepped inside, badge on his belt, 2 uniformed officers behind him. His presence sucked the air out of the living room. Janet stood perfectly still, her hand clutching the tissue like a lifeline. Cole's voice was steady, professional, and unshakable. "Janet Marston," he said, walking toward her. "You are under arrest for arson in the 2nd degree and insurance fraud." "What?" Aunt Nora gasped. Chloe covered her mouth. Trevor sat frozen. Janet's composure shattered instantly. "This is ridiculous," she shrieked. "Maya set me up. She's lying. I'm her mother." Cole continued, unmoved. "You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in court." The handcuffs clicked. The metal sound echoed like a gunshot in the silent room. "Don't believe her," Janet cried, twisting toward her family. "She's sick. Confused. Ma'am," Cole interrupted firmly. "You need to stop speaking." Bruce stepped forward, voice trembling. "I didn't do anything." The second officer blocked his path. "Mr. Marston, you are not under arrest at this time, but you are required to come with us for questioning." Bruce's eyes snapped to Maya, filled with panic and betrayal. "It was her idea," he blurted out. "All of it. She planned everything." "Shut up!" Janet screamed, lunging toward him as the officers restrained her. But it was too late. The family heard every word. Aunt Nora staggered backward. Uncle Grant's voice cracked. "Janet, how could you?" Janet stopped struggling. Her chest heaved. Her eyes locked on Maya with a mixture of hatred and fear. Maya didn't flinch. Not once. As they led Janet out the door, she didn't look back. Bruce followed, shoulders slumped, muttering excuses no one believed. And then they were gone, leaving behind a room full of people who finally, painfully, saw the truth Maya had been carrying alone. For a long moment after the police cars pulled away, the room felt like a hollow shell. Too quiet, too still, too fragile. Aunt Nora was the first to move. Tears streamed down her face as she walked toward Maya with trembling hands. "Maya," she whispered, voice cracking. "I'm so sorry. I never imagined." Maya shook her head. "You didn't know." "I should have asked," Nora said, gripping her hands. "I should have listened before assuming something was wrong with you." Trevor stood slowly, his face pale. "She actually tried to burn your home." Maya nodded. No anger. No triumph. Just truth. "She did." Chloe stepped forward too, eyes glossy. "I feel sick. We thought you were struggling. We thought you were imagining things." "That's what she wanted you to think," Maya said quietly. Uncle Grant cleared his throat, trying to maintain composure but failing. "Maya, whatever you need, legal fees, support, a place to stay, this family, the real family, will help." Maya looked around the room at faces she had known her whole life. Some broken, some ashamed, some finally seeing her clearly. "Thank you," she said. "But I need time to figure out who my family is." No one argued. They heard the exhaustion in her voice. They understood. Maya walked outside where the cold air hit her face like a cleansing wave. Her phone buzzed again. A message from Erin. Patricia is being processed now. Bail hearing tomorrow. Bruce is talking. He's trying to make a deal. Maya looked up at the gray sky. Good, she whispered. Let him talk. She felt lighter, not happy, not relieved, just lighter. As if something heavy had finally been lifted off her chest. Not because justice was done, but because the truth was finally undeniable. And she wasn't carrying it alone anymore. 2 days later, Maya sat in attorney Erin Benton's office as a thick stack of documents lay spread across the desk. The fluorescent lights hummed quietly above them, creating a strange calm that contrasted sharply with everything that had happened. Erin slid a paper forward. The case is solid, she said. Very solid. She pointed to photos clipped neatly in order. Janet entering the apartment with a black bag, exiting without it, buying the timer device, the burned fragments found at the scene, the forensic match confirming tampering, and finally the beneficiary form with a forged signature. This alone, Erin continued, tapping the form, is enough for a felony fraud charge. Combined with the arson evidence. She'll take a plea. Maya nodded, though her throat felt tight. Erin passed her another document. And this is Bruce's statement. Maya hesitated before reading. The words blurred for a moment, then sharpened painfully. Janet planned everything. I knew about the insurance. I didn't stop her. I thought it would solve our debt problem. I didn't believe she would hurt Maya. Maya swallowed, emotion swelling in her chest. He's trying to save himself, she murmured. Erin nodded. Yes. But his testimony strengthens the case. She leaned back. Your mother is looking at 6 to 12 years. With the plea deal we negotiated, the state is recommending 6 with eligibility for parole after 4. Maya absorbed the information slowly, like someone experiencing gravity for the first time. Erin placed a final document on the desk. The insurance payout, $142,000 after legal deductions, has been processed. Belongs to you. Always did. Maya stared at the paper. Money didn't erase the fire. It didn't erase betrayal. But it meant she could rebuild. Finally, Erin's voice softened. How do you feel? Maya looked out the window at the bustling street below. People living ordinary lives. Empty, she said honestly. But free. Weeks passed, and the rhythm of Maya's life began to shift into something fragile but steady. She started therapy with Dr. Okonkwo, a woman with warm eyes and a way of asking questions that gently peeled back defenses Maya hadn't even realized she had. During their 4th session, the therapist asked, "Do you forgive them?" Maya stared at the ceiling for a long moment. "Forgiveness isn't my job right now," she said. "Healing is." Dr. Okonkwo smiled gently. "That's growth." But growth was uncomfortable. Some mornings Maya woke up and expected to smell smoke. Some nights she felt the echo of her mother's voice, the cold dismissal, the practiced sweetness, the lies. But other mornings felt lighter. She bought a new guitar, one that didn't replace the one her late stepfather gave her but honored the memory of it. She moved into a small studio apartment in a quiet neighborhood, one with new locks and a security system she installed herself. Evan helped her move. Aunt Nora brought flowers. Uncle Grant delivered a casserole and awkwardly stood in the doorway until Maya hugged him, which made him cry. Slowly the nightmares dulled. The panic softened. One night she played her new guitar while Evan sat on the couch listening quietly. When she finished, he said, "Sounds like you're finding your way back." Maya smiled faintly. Maybe. She still received updates from Erin. Janet's plea deal finalized, Bruce's probation terms, the restraining order approved for 10 years. Maya didn't feel triumph or satisfaction when she heard these things. Just clarity. A clear understanding of what family was and wasn't. When she lay in bed at night, staring at the quiet ceiling, she realized the loudest parts of her life were finally behind her. And silence wasn't scary anymore. Silence was peace. The town reacted faster than Maya expected. Within 2 weeks of Janet's arrest, whispers began rippling through the church community, the neighborhood, the book club her mother once hosted. Aunt Nora updated her over coffee. The pastor asked her not to return, she said softly. Said it was too disruptive for the congregation. Maya stirred her drink without expression. I can imagine. Nora hesitated. Richard Bruce lost his job. The hardware store didn't want the publicity. And someone spray-painted their garage door. Maya exhaled through her nose. People make their own storms, she said quietly. Eventually they have to stand in the rain. Nora nodded sadly. She's been calling everyone, she said. Trying to explain. Saying the evidence was planted. Saying you manipulated the investigators. Maya let out a breath of hollow disbelief. Did anyone believe her? Not anymore, Nora whispered. Not after seeing everything. Maya didn't feel joy at the news. She didn't feel pity either. Only a strange emptiness. A space where love once lived and had long since burned to ash. Nora reached across the table and took Maya's hand. She's my sister. I grew up with her. And I don't know who she's become. That woman in handcuffs. I didn't recognize her. Maya squeezed her aunt's hand gently. It's not your fault. Nora's voice quivered. I know. But I still feel it. Cars passed outside the cafe window. People laughed. Life continued without pause. Maya finally asked the question she had been avoiding. How bad were their debts? Nora's expression darkened. Bad. Very bad. I heard numbers over $180,000. Owed to the kind of people you don't want to owe money to. Maya's jaw tightened. She thought she could fix it by burning down my life. Yes, Nora said quietly. But she failed. Maya nodded. And now I get to build something new. The court date came on a gray Thursday in April. Maya arrived early and sat in the back row of the courtroom, arms folded tightly in her lap. When the deputies led Janet inside, Maya barely recognized her. The orange jumpsuit washed her out. Her hair had grown out in uneven gray strands. Her eyes looked tired, emptied, defeated. But Maya felt no pull of sympathy, only distance. The judge read the charges: arson in the second degree, insurance fraud, forgery, conspiracy. Each word echoed across the courtroom like a gavel strike against the past. Janet didn't turn to look at her daughter. She kept her eyes fixed on the table in front of her. Her attorney entered the plea agreement. Guilty on all counts. A soft gasp came from someone in the audience. Maya didn't flinch. She simply stared, absorbing the moment, accepting it. The judge announced the sentence. 6 years in state prison, with eligibility for parole after 4. Maya watched Janet's shoulders sag, watched her inhale sharply as reality settled. Bruce's hearing occurred separately. He had cooperated fully, provided testimony, and completed the gambling evaluation. The DA offered him probation, 18 months suspended to 2 years of supervision, plus 200 hours of community service and mandatory treatment. He tried to meet Maya's eyes as he was dismissed from the courtroom. She didn't give him the satisfaction. After the proceedings, Erin met Maya in the hallway. The insurance money cleared, she said. It's done. Maya nodded. She didn't cry. She didn't smile. She simply breathed. And the restraining order is official, Erin added. Neither of them can contact you for 10 years. Maya exhaled slowly. Good. She walked outside. The sky was clearing. And for the first time in months, she felt steady on her feet. 3 weeks after the trial, Maya settled into a new rhythm of life. Quiet mornings, therapy once a week, work part-time while rebuilding emotionally. One day after her session, Dr. Okonkwo asked her, "What does healing look like to you now?" Maya thought about it carefully. "It looks like breathing without waiting for bad news," she said. "It looks like trusting myself again." The therapist nodded. "And family?" Maya hesitated. "Family is whoever shows up, not who shares blood." In the evenings, Evan often stopped by with takeout or groceries. Sometimes they cooked together. Sometimes they sat in silence. He never rushed Maya's healing. He simply existed beside her, a steady presence she hadn't realized she needed. One night, Maya unwrapped her new guitar and played gently, fingers remembering shapes they hadn't touched since the fire. Evan listened with a small smile. "You sound good," he said. Maya shook her head. "I sound different." "Different isn't bad," he replied. "Different means you lived." She couldn't argue with that. Slowly the nightmares faded. The panic loosened. She woke some mornings without remembering the fire at all. On others, she woke with gratitude simply for being alive. She redecorated her studio little by little. Soft lights, warm blankets, books she loved, a framed photo of her late stepfather teaching her chords. When Aunt Nora visited, she stood in the doorway and said, "It feels peaceful here." Maya smiled. "It feels like mine." She didn't talk much about Janet. Not with Nora. Not with Evan. Not with anyone. Some stories weren't meant to be retold every day. Some endings were meant to stay closed. And some beginnings, like hers, were still unfolding quietly. 2 months after sentencing, Maya received an envelope with a return address from the State Women's Correctional Facility. Her chest tightened when she saw the handwriting. Small, neat, painfully familiar. For a long moment, she considered throwing it away. But curiosity won. She sat at her small kitchen table, sunlight pooling across the wood, and opened it. "Dear Maya," the letter began. "I've had a lot of time to think here. I was desperate. I wasn't thinking clearly. Your father's debts were crushing us. I'm not making excuses, but I never meant to hurt you. You're still my daughter. Please come visit me. Please let me explain. I'm still your mother. Love, Mom." Maya read it twice. 3 times. She didn't cry. She didn't feel rage. Just a deep, profound sadness. She took out a blank sheet of paper and wrote a response she never intended to send. "Janet, you were my mother. But the woman who planned to burn down my home for money is not someone I need in my life. Please don't write again." She folded the letter and placed it in her desk drawer, an unsent goodbye. Then she blocked incoming mail from the prison at the post office. Clean. Final. That evening, Evan stopped by with dinner. He noticed the envelope in the trash. "You okay?" he asked gently. Maya paused, then nodded. "Better than okay," she said. "I'm free." Evan smiled softly. "Good. You deserve peace." Over the next few weeks, Maya rebuilt her days with intention. She returned to full-time work, focusing on tasks that grounded her. Spreadsheets, schedules, helping clients. Her co-workers welcomed her back with quiet warmth, sensing the storm she'd survived but not prying. Evan brought her fresh coffee every morning, leaving it on her desk with a note like "You've got this" or "Strong days ahead." Home, Maya decorated slowly. She hung soft curtains, bought a warm rug, placed small plants near the window. The studio became a cocoon. Safe, quiet, hers. One Saturday, she visited a local community center and donated items to families rebuilding after fires. She didn't share her story. She simply helped carry boxes, offer comfort, and hold space. Healing wasn't loud. It was steady. Aunt Nora and Uncle Grant became regular visitors, always calling first, always checking in without suffocating her. Sometimes they talked about nothing, pies, neighbors, old stories. Sometimes they just sat together, breathing the same calm air. One night, Maya took her guitar to the rooftop of her building and played under the city lights. The chords echoed softly, the melody familiar and new at once. She remembered her late stepfather teaching her music. His laugh when she got it wrong, and his pride when she got it right. That warmth lived inside her, no matter what she had lost. When she went back downstairs, she realized something. She no longer felt like a victim. She felt like someone who had walked through fire, literally, and had come out carrying only what mattered. Strength, clarity, ease. Summer arrived quietly, settling into the edges of Maya's life like sunlight warming a windowsill. She spent afternoons walking through the park, watching families play and strangers laughing together. Normal moments she once envied. Now she simply absorbed them. One day, as she sat under a tree sketching in a notebook, Evan joined her. "You look lighter," he said. Maya smiled. "I feel lighter." They talked for an hour about nothing and everything. Movies, food, the future. Evan hesitated before asking, "Do you ever think about going back? Seeing her?" Maya took a slow breath. "No," she said softly. "Some doors close for a reason." Evan nodded. "I'm proud of you." She brushed a leaf from her sketchbook. "I'm proud of me too." It was the first time she'd ever said those words out loud. That evening, Maya cooked dinner in her tiny kitchen, humming to herself as the warm scent filled the space. She lit a candle, lavender, and let the soft flame settle her breathing. Later, she sat by the window and wrote a letter addressed only to herself. "You survived. You grew. You didn't let fire destroy who you are." She placed it beside her guitar, a quiet reminder of everything she'd overcome. Healing was no longer a question. It was happening, slowly, steadily, beautifully. And for the first time since the fire, Maya allowed herself to imagine a future not defined by trauma, but by choice. A future she built. A future she deserved. By August, Maya's life had stabilized into something gentle and steady. She joined a local music group, bringing her guitar and playing alongside strangers who quickly became friends. They performed at a small cafe on Friday nights, filling the room with soft acoustic melodies. When Maya played her first solo piece, the audience clapped warmly. She felt her chest swell with something she had thought she'd lost, joy. Evan was there, sitting in the front row, smiling like she'd hung the moon. After the show, he handed her a small bouquet. "You're glowing," he said. Maya blushed. "Maybe I'm finally living." They walked home together under warm streetlights, talking about new beginnings. Meanwhile, Janet's letters stopped. Court updates ended. The chaos that once defined Maya's life faded into distant memory. Still sharp, still painful, but powerless now. Maya's therapist noted the shift during a session. "You're not telling the story from the wound anymore," she said. "You're telling it from the scar." Maya nodded. "The scar reminds me I survived." One evening, Aunt Nora visited with fresh-baked bread and sat at Maya's small table. "Your mother called again," Nora said softly. "The prison asked me to confirm your mailing address." Maya didn't tense. She didn't flinch. "I don't want contact," she said firmly. "Not now. Maybe not ever." Nora squeezed her hand. "You get to choose your peace." Maya realized something then. Peace wasn't given. Peace was built. And she was building hers brick by brick, day by day. 6 months after the fire, Maya sat in her small apartment, looking out at the city lights glowing against the night sky. The journey had been brutal, filled with betrayal, fear, truth, and finally justice, but she had walked through all of it and remained standing. The fire had taken her belongings, her home, and her sense of safety. But it had also exposed what had been hidden for years. Her mother's conditional love, Bruce's complicity, and the fragile lies holding their family together. More importantly, it revealed Maya's strength. Quiet, steady, unbreakable. She picked up her guitar and played a soft melody that drifted across her room like a promise. Fire destroyed things. Everyone knew that. But fire also revealed things. Burned away illusions, exposed truth, forced rebirth. She had learned to trust herself again, to set boundaries without guilt, to accept love from people who showed up, not people who shared blood. She leaned back on the couch, letting the music fade. "I'm still standing," she whispered. "And I'm free." She thought of people watching her story somewhere. People who felt alone, unheard, doubted by the people who should have loved them most. She hoped her story reached them the way surviving had reached her. Because she now knew. Saving yourself isn't betrayal. It's survival. She placed her guitar gently against the wall, turned off the lights, and stepped toward the quiet bedroom she earned through fire, truth, and courage. Her past no longer defined her. Her future belonged only to her. And Maya Collins, 29 years old, survivor of betrayal, fire, and rebirth, finally stepped into it without fear.